Hey everybody, it's your girl Nell and welcome to Simply Nell's Tiny Studio. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today in the Tiny Studio. What's going on, Nell? What's going on, Nell? You might be asking yourself. Well, nothing much. Today, what I am doing is I am working on what some people call a slouchy hat, but for me it's really, some people call it a Rasta hat as well, but I have it here, but I'm not working with Rasta colors. Actually, I want to call it a dreadlock tam is what I'm working on. A dreadlock tam. You can call it a Rasta tam, you can call it a slouchy hat, you can call it whatever you want to, but I am calling it a dreadlock tam. And I have made so many of these before. My daughter, my tiny studio assistant, she's walking around here with her with her dreadlock tam on, and as a matter of fact, she always wears her dreadlock tam. So I decided, and I was thinking that maybe for the fall winter season upcoming, what I'm thinking about doing is making some tams and scarf sets, but I'm also really thinking about just maybe catering to my dreadlock community here in the tiny studio, and maybe making dreadlock tams and selling them. So that's what I'm doing right now. I am officially, I think I'm on row 8. I'm on row 8 now for this dreadlock tam, and I'm using a bulky weight yarn or a chunky yarn, and the size hook that I'm using is a size 8. So, or let me see, what letter would that be? A size L hook. And I think that maybe I will do a tutorial on how to make a dreadlock tam, because it's very important for people who have dreads to cover their hair, which is the purpose of this video. And the title of this video, I believe, is going to be why it is important to cover your locks, cover your dreads. So let's get into it. How about it? I'm drinking some dandelion tea because I, of course, am going through another stage of womanhood called menopause. And as you may know, with menopause, for me, it is to be absent, to have not have any more periods. My period has left the building finally, after umpteen years, as my mother would say. But what I find is that I still have certain symptoms related to having a cycle. Now, while I no longer have a cycle each month, which means I'm not releasing an egg and I'm not shedding the inside of my reproductive system every month, I still have certain aspects of the side effects of having a cycle or a period or monthly. And one of those side effects is bloating and swelling. And that's something that I had really, really bad. I have it on 2 levels. The first level is the reproductive thing of being a woman, and the second level that I have it on is the fact that I was born with a congenital heart disease, and I was born with a defective valve. So sometimes that valve leaks and it causes swelling. But right now the valve is working fine, my heart is working fine. However, it's that time of the month. It is the beginning of the month, and I'm having a little bit of swelling, so I drink dandelion tea to get rid of the swelling. Excuse me, to release the water. And I tried to do things naturally around here, because when you take too many synthetically made medications, it can have there are side effects with those, and it can react. You can have results or negative results from using all of those different type of medications to do things that the universe has already provided for us to use. How am I going to say this? Because that is not how I want to say it. Even though modern medicine is great, modern medicine also has side effects. The universe has provided us with this beautiful planet called Earth. And here on Earth, there are other things that you can use that grow naturally from the earth, from the soil. You can use to combat certain issues or all the ailments that we have as human beings. Now, there are certain things that nature or supplied by nature. There are certain things, the ailments that we have as humans, yes, that we need the aid of modern medicine, right? But there are certain things that we can use to alleviate the symptoms that some of those things that we have, because of the foods that we eat, or because of the air that we breathe, pollution, all of those things that cause, really crazy detrimental things to us. It cause detrimental consequences for our health. There are still things that we can use from nature that will help alleviate some of those symptoms. That's where I'm talking. That's where I'm heading. That's where I'm going. That's what I'm talking about. And that's why I'm drinking the dandelion tea, because I could very well, double up on some medication that my cardiologist gave me to relieve the water. But why would I do that when I can just go ahead and drink some dandelion tea? I can drink some hibiscus tea. I can drink some hawthorn tea, and it will work just as fine and just as well for me. And I won't have a lot of synthetic chemicals in my body, warring against what nature has already deemed physiologically and chemically suitable for this shell, for this existence, right? Right. So anyhow, I'm in a tiny studio today, crocheting this beautiful crocheted tam, dreadlock tam, and that got me to really wanting to talk to you about why it's really important that you keep your dreads covered. Now, when I say keeping your dreads covered or keeping your locks covered, what is it that I mean? What am I talking about? Am I saying that you have to have your dreadlocks covered all the time? Well, first of all, let's talk about what are dreadlocks. Okay, now if you are a person that is just wearing dreadlocks as a style, then you might not understand, or you might not agree with what is getting ready to be discussed. But there are some gems that you could possibly pick up from this video. Now, dreadlocks for me and to me, as a sense of African spirituality, is all about energy. It's about energy. It's about being aware. It's about my hair and the follicles on my head and the hair all over my body. Because, we have the largest organ or living, breathing organ on our bodies right now is our skin. And out of that skin becomes hair. And what is the hair? The hair are the antennas of our bodies. Like the eyes are the windows of our souls. Like the third eye of perception, even though you cannot see it, it is there. Most definitely. So the hair that's growing out of our body, those are our antennas. Those are our feelers. Our feelers to let us know or judge the temperature of the environment or the atmosphere that we may be in. And that is the beauty of our dreads, because our dreads are large antennas that help us to absorb energies, negative and positive. But we want to focus on the positive. The negative energies that we absorb from our environment, we have to curtail that by keeping our antennas covered, right? Yes, yes. Now, for me, I keep my locks covered for 2 reasons. I keep my locks covered as a sense or by way of spirituality, meaning knowing that my locks are antennas, feelers, absorbers, sponges of energies. I want to beware of the different energies that I soak in from my environment. And then again, I want to also trap the positive energies that are floating around in my environment and around my little universe and around the tiny studio. I want to keep them nice and cushy here on the inside of my excuse me, my dreadlock tam. Now, the second reason why I keep my dreadlock tam on or keep my locks covered, maybe about 60 to 65% of the time, is because I want to keep my dreads clean. Now, in a previous dreadlock video, if you are a returnee to the tiny studio, you know that I wash my hair twice a year, every 6 months. And then sometimes I may break down and wash it every season. So that may be when the season changes from spring to summer, I'll wash it. Summer to fall, fall to winter, winter to spring. Those are 4 different times I may wash my hair per year. And sometimes I may do it twice a year. And some may say, well, how is that possible? How do you wash your hair twice a year or 4 times a year? Right? Great question. I am able to do so because I keep my hair covered. I keep my locks covered. And so what that does, it prevents a lot of dust, a lot of dirt, a lot of pollution. It keeps smoke, smells. It keeps all of those things that we usually come in contact when we are out and about in our environment. It keeps those things from soaking into or being absorbed into my dreads. The thing is that we have to understand that with dreads, it's not like the management of dreads is not like the management of, let's say, having relaxed hair. It's not like having and even with relaxed hair or just hair maintenance in general, there's nothing wrong with wearing a scarf around your head or wearing a bonnet or something like that at home, because the same principles in itself applies in that setting as well. You want to keep your hair clean. You want to keep it neat. You want to keep it from absorbing different smells and scents. You want to just keep it dust free. So there's absolutely the same concept to why some of you guys may wear a bonnet or may used to have incorporated using a bonnet or a tying of your hair, that type of ritual. It's the same thing that applies to dreads. You want to keep them clean. You want to keep them from pollution and dust and all of those things. You want to keep them from the pollen, different things that's out in the air. You want to keep that from it becoming, saturated in your locks. So that is the importance of keeping your dreads covered. So There are two reasons that you should keep your dreads covered. You should keep them covered because of spirituality. You want to make sure that you are protecting your energy, protecting your crown. That's number one. And number two is you just want to keep it clean. You want to keep your locks clean. And this is what prevents you from having to or thinking about washing your hair more or washing your dreads more than they should be washed. Because when we overwash our dreads, what happens is we're stripping our dreads of moisture. We're stripping our dreads of natural oils that are happening on our hair. We're doing things, we're overdoing it. We're overthinking the process of wearing dreads. So keep everything simple. Keep it simple, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Wear your hair or keep your hair covered. Now, I know a lot of people may have, feelings about wearing, a scarf maybe, or wearing a tam, or, a Rasta slouchy hat. They may have feelings about, well, doesn't that make me look like, like my grandmother used to say, make you look like, you were a pickaninny, or you were a slave, or, you're a caricature from an old 1940s cartoon. You know how these movie studios used to characterize us as black women on television, and then or in movies, not in a not so flattering manner, with our hair wrapped up. And remember when Aunt Jemima used to wear a scarf? I do. My grandmother hated that. She hated that. She's like, why? What? Why? And then she started, attaching wearing a scarf to being something negative. She would see me wrap my hair in beautiful African scarves, and she'd be like, oh, why would you do that? That's just so, you're not African. You're not from Africa. We don't live in Africa. We don't have to look like that. And see, that was the way she was raised here in America, because the way white supremacy had it set up, they made us feel bad or feel guilty or become repulsed by who we are or who we were as a people, right? So to really strip us down to the last denominator, they had to make us feel repulsed by who we really are, by our history, and by our culture. So that's why she felt that way about head covering and scarves and things of that nature. Now, she did wear a good tam. She showed me how to crochet, and she did wear a good tam, I'm gonna tell you that. And my mother and my grandmother love hats, but hats, where does that take you to? They take you to ancient Egypt. They take you to Kemet. We love hats. We love head coverings and crowns and hair refinery. We love that stuff. We love that because that's who we are. So wearing a beautiful dreadlock tam to as a sense of keeping your dreads covered, to keep them clean, that is something that should be incorporated into your everyday life. Let's say you go to work, you go out into this world, you have a really great day, you come home, put your tam on, cover your locks, spray it with rose water first, and then put your tam on. If you want to have a successful grow a successful set of locks, then you have to do the things necessary in order to make it happen. And one of those ways you do so is by keeping your locks covered. I was talking about energy before, and sometimes we could be somewhere like at the movie theater or at the mall, or let's say at the grocery store or at the department store, and there are different energies that are present in those places, in those group places where people congregate, you know, and the energies are of all, it's a mixed bag. What do you want to carry home with you? Do you want to carry home some hatefulness? Do you want to carry home some honoriness? Do you want to carry home anger? Do you want to carry home energies from deviance and dysfunction? Do you want to carry those type of things home? No? Then when you step out the door and you have to run errands like I just said, Walmart, grocery store, you know, you may have to go to the doctor, cover your locks. Cover your locks, protect your energy. Just like with my crystals, you know, I wear them all the time because I am constantly aware of what protecting my energy. So right now I am protected. My locks, I'm protected here, and I'm protected with my crystal. All of this is protected. That's how you protect yourself. That's how you begin to see yourself as a spiritual person, a spiritual being having a human existence here on this planet named Earth. That's how you do it. And this is how you keep your locks clean. Now, I get a lot of comments and emails about, well, you only wash your hair 4 times a year or twice a year. You know, what about sweat? Doesn't your hair sweat? Well, yes, my hair sweats. You know, did I not say that I am a woman of a certain age and I'm going through menopause? So I have hot flashes, child. Hot flashes where I am sweating. But for me, when my hair sweats, it doesn't smell. When my hair sweats, it doesn't have a scent. In fact, sweating is good. Sweating and water is great because sweating helps the locking process, right? Sweating helps the dreading process. Now, if you sweat and you have a scent coming from your locks, then there are other things going on, which means you may have certain chemicals in your hair that when it sits for certain periods of time, when you sweat, it releases an odor. So what you have to do is you have to go and figure out what are those things that I'm using, those products that I'm using that's causing me to have a scent in my hair. I need to stop doing that. I need to stop using it. Right? Yes, most definitely. Because when you sweat, your hair shouldn't smell. Now, your underarms may smell, or other places of your body may have release an odor. And when you're releasing odors from your other areas of your body, remember that your skin is the largest organ on your body. When that happens, what does that mean? It means that there are foods that we are eating, or dead things that we are eating, or chemicals we are ingesting. It could be synthetic chemicals made, you know, as or known as medicines. Those items could be seeping through our pores, and they have an odor, or they emit an odor. So once again, we have to sit down and start addressing that. Okay, I know that I have a natural smell, I have a natural scent, I have a natural odor. But if it's truly offensive, we have to think about the things that we put inside of our bodies that give off that when we sweat, give off an offensive type of odor. But in general, with your locks, no, when you sweat, your locks should not have a smell to it. If it does, you have to go back and think about, what did I put in my locks? What am I using on my locks that when I sweat, I now have an odor? So keeping your hair covered has nothing to do with sweating and odors. It has everything to do with keeping your hair clean, keeping your locks clean. Now, if you would like to have your very own dreadlock tam, you can drop down in the comment section and I will provide a link where you can go to my Instagram page. I think it's Nails Tiny Studio, and I will have different ideas or colors of the type of tams that I can crochet for you at a reasonable price, because I believe that if you're going to wear dreads, that you should have the tools available to you that's going to help you be successful on this journey or this path of having dreadlocks. Oh yeah, and that's right, this is a dreadlock love video, baby. You know what time it is. So thank you so much for hanging out here in the tiny studio with me. I am still working on row, what row is this? I think this is row 7 of this dreadlock tam. And you know, like I said, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to crochet, how to do certain things with crocheting, because what I've learned about crocheting is I've learned that it's not just a hobby for me. It's, you know, this is something that you can wear. You can wear the things that you make from crocheting and knitting, and not only can you wear them, you can also create things to be able to, you know, share with other people, you know, as gifts and things of that nature. Crocheting is such a wonderful thing. To me, it's more than just a hobby. It's a lifestyle for me. And on that note, there is going to be a crochet fashion show coming up this month, and I think it's going to be in New York. Don't quote me on that. I better check my facts first. But there's going to be a fashion show, and it's going to be featuring all crochet fashions. A lot of crocheters, designers, fiber artists are going to be there, and they're going to be displaying and showcasing the things that they have created from crocheting. Yes, it's more than just a hobby, child. It's a whole lifestyle. So thank you so much for hanging out with me here in the tiny studio. I'm your girl Nail. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share if you really felt that this video resounded with you and you want to spread the word about keeping your locks covered to other people who are just getting into wearing dreadlocks. So I will see you next time here in the tiny studio. I'm doing my best to make sure that I have videos regularly here videos of me in the tiny studio regularly on Simply Nails Tiny Studio channel. We can grow this channel together. If you would like to help me in the tiny studio and you would like to buy me a cup of tea, or you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, go right ahead and do it. There is a button there that has like a $sign within it, and it's like a super thanks. So if you would like to buy me a cup of coffee or buy me a cup of tea, go right ahead, because Nail, I always have some tea or some coffee here in the tiny studio. So I will see you next time, and thank you for supporting my channel. Bye-bye.